Hi there and welcome to MiWeek. I'm Christy McDonald. A lot going on across the state. We're going to get you caught up, including results of the primary and a surprise in Detroit. Plus a new Great Lakes Now report on stopping Asian carp from getting into the Great Lakes. Also coming up for you, Nolan goes out this week and talks to President Trump's supporters. Has the media really listened to them? And the art of disagreeing with respect. Is it possible to make more people stop and think before reacting? That'll be a pretty interesting conversation, but we're going to start with the results of the Detroit primary this week. It comes down to Mayor Mike Duggan against Coleman Young II. That was not a surprise. But the bigger story, City Council President Pro Tem George Cushingberry got knocked out of the primary. So let's start there with our MiWeek contributors. Nolan Finley, he's the editorial page editor of the Detroit News, and Stephen Henderson, the editorial page editor of the Detroit Free Press. Hey guys, I know we talked that there weren't going to be a lot of surprises here in the primary vote this week, but I do want to start with George Cushingberry. He came in third, Nolan.
Yeah, I mean, that's really shocking for an incumbent. I didn't see much evidence that Cushingberry was campaigning, no, and I think, you know, you do have to run for the seat. He was up against some well-known names. It was McCaskill McAllister that beat him, and Virgil Smith that beat him, which
he's been in trouble with the law.
He certainly has high name recognition.
Yeah.
What did you think of that when that vote came in?
I mean, I was a little surprised. But then I started to think about that district. I mean, that district includes Palmer Woods, it includes Sherwood Forest, it includes University District, Bagley. I mean, these are areas of town that are really benefiting from the sort of rebirth that Detroit is undergoing, and it's spilling over into the places now that hadn't been seeing it. I think you're getting a more sophisticated kind of choice from voters there. They want somebody who's really going to represent them and keep pushing things forward. Maybe they felt like George wasn't the right person for that. Roy McAllister, I think, is a very sort of prototypical voter in that district. He's run a couple times and come up short. This time he pulled it off.
It's interesting. So now we're going to be looking at the mayor's race. And we've talked a lot about how it's going to be coming down to, you have Coleman Young, who is going to be talking a lot about neighborhoods and how the neighborhoods have suffered and that the Duggan administration has not done enough for them. Mayor Duggan is going to have to answer this to Detroit narrative that he doesn't particularly, I think, believe exists right now. Nolan, what do you think this is going to come down to?
Well, I think you hit it. I think it's all neighborhoods, and you know, I think the challenge for the mayor is to continue to talk about the progress they've made and the foundation they've put in place. I mean, it would have been unrealistic to think anyone who could have turned around 60 years of decline in 4 years, but you know, he's got to talk about the foundation and what he intends to do to build on it over the next 4 years. Coleman Young, you know, is right to keep the pressure up on the two Detroit narrative, but he's got to do more than attack. He's got to offer some vision and some ideas, and so far he hasn't.
Interesting that Mayor Duggan said, "I am not going to attack my opponent throughout this entire process."
Well,
do you believe that's possible?
You're up 40 points on somebody. You don't have to just don't mention their name. I mean, I wouldn't say his name for the next 3 months if I were the mayor. But I do think that the substantive point about the difference between what's happening in downtown and midtown, some neighborhoods, and other places is important. And I think the mayor can come up with better explanations for why that happened and talk more specifically about, okay, well, what's the next 4 years look like? I mean, 4 years from now, how many neighborhoods will still be sort of untouched by these dramatic changes? He doesn't want to do that because it's slow and there's not a lot of money and it's really difficult. But that is the work, and I don't think he's done a bad job of it so far. I think he's done what he could do in 4 years. There are a lot of places that we wouldn't have expected to see moving forward that are experiencing some change, but there are a lot of places that are just left out.
So you say that he should not mention his opponent's name at all, but the two sides have agreed that there is going to be a mayoral debate here, Nolan. That should be pretty interesting.
It could be. I mean, it's certainly going to give Coleman Young probably his only chance to, you know, get on a big stage and take some shots at the mayor. But I think the mayor, I wouldn't expect him to be sprinting hard in this campaign. I think he'll focus on governing. As Steve said, he's up 40 points. It'd be shocking if he lost that, barring some kind of scandal. I would expect him to keep a very comfortable pace here and not go out too far out on a limb on anything.
All right, well, we'll keep watching and see where that debate ends up. You know, they could always come to MiWeek and we could debate it out right here with you guys. What do you think?
We have done it before.
We could do it again.